Hey, it's Dr. Daniel Moses here. I wanted to talk about the buy, refurbish, refinance. And I wanted to talk about something that you should be aware when you are looking to doing your buy, refurbish, refinance strategy. Now, the number one thing about buy, refurbish, refinance, in as much as a lot of people want to get started with it. Now, there are different types of buy, refurbish, refinance. You can actually buy, refurb, refinance, and do just a very light refurb, which will allow you normally pull out some sort of money from your project. So for example, pulling out maybe 20-30% of whatever total capital cost of that particular project. So in this particular case, it would be you're buying a property, you're refurbishing it, and you're spending about £100,000, and you're pulling out about 30% of that money out, which would be £30,000. Or you're buying, you're refurbishing, and you're basically pulling out maybe 20% of that money, so which would be 20%. Or you could do buy, refurbish, refinance, such as the ones that I do, whereby significant value is very, very, very important to me, because when I'm doing buy, refurbish, refinance strategy in London, one of the things I'm looking to do is, can I double the price of the actual asset? So example would be, can I buy a property for £400,000, and can that property in 9 months time be revalued at £800,000, or maybe even £1 million, or maybe even £950,000, for example. So I want to show you my secrets of how I'm doing the buy, refurbish, refinance, and my properties are actually doubling in value 9 months later. And there are a few things that I want to talk about in this process, which is the most important part when you buy a property, the refurb, adding significant value. Now, adding significant value means that you're not just buying a house where you're putting a kitchen, just a kitchen in that property, but it is when you are buying a property and you're adding value using your planning, permitted development, or not permitted development rights to actually get a project delivered. So I use a lot of planning in my adding of my value, doing my buy, refurbish, refinance strategy. So which would be number one, applying for planning application and going all out in the very first case instant by planning to extend a property at the back. For example, 6-meter extension, building a 6-meter extension at the back of a property. Or, for example, applying for planning application to add 4.5-meter extension at the back of a property, which automatically means I would need to apply for planning application. Or finally, just doing a standard 3-meter extension at the back of my property where I do not need planning approval. All I just need to do is to submit the intention that I will be adding a 3 meters extension to the property to building control. In this case, all I just need to do is, submit a simple application to the local authority, just showing them what I intend to do, showing them the drawings of what I intend to do by just putting a 3-meter extension at that property. This can actually allow the price go up a little bit, but it's not just going to give me double figures in 9 months' time. But I'm going to really stick to adding value, adding significant value, and making sure that property doubles in value in 9 months' time. So a simple example would be a 2-bedroom house that's got the appropriate space for me to actually add the extensions that I require. Now, when you're looking to buy this kind of properties that are 2 bedrooms, it is very, very important that you play with, the entire floor size or space of that particular property. So you don't want to be buying a 60-meter square property and then, looking to extend the property to about maybe 150. No, that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for property that's absolutely got the size. Okay, for example, over 120, 150, so you can actually increase and add significant value in that property. You also want to be having, the space to do things like loft conversions, single dormer loft conversions to double dormer loft conversions. You also want to be able to, within the area you're buying the property, you also want to see that other properties that are in the areas, for example, are, able to add double story conversions. So a 3-meter extension at the back of your property and then building another story conversion on top of the ground floor 3-meter extension. So these are the core things that I look for when I'm looking to add significant value to a property. Extension to the left or right hand corner, depending on the situation or how the property is positioned. Something else I'm also looking at is adding numbers of bedrooms. So for example, a 2-bedroom property that I can change into a 6-bedroom property, also adding en-suites, making sure that all the rooms got their own en-suites. And something else I'll also be looking at when I'm adding significant value to double the price of that particular property in 9 months time is to, throwing in things like, having double kitchens. So maybe putting 1 kitchen on each floor, or maybe putting, 2 kitchens on the ground floor, and then adding the second kitchen maybe on the loft space area of that actual property. So these are the things that I look for when I'm looking to adding value to property. So I'll give a very typical case scenario. A property that I bought for £450,000, and 9 months later, this particular property was revalued for £950,000, and I was able to leverage on an 18% loan to value product with a certain lender, which then allowed me pull out significant, amount of the capital that I employed in this particular property. Now, how did a property that I bought for 450, then revalues at £950,000? It is because I understood that I needed to add significant value. It wasn't just to put in a brand new kitchen. It wasn't just about, doing redecorating the property and putting new carpet. It was about, can I add loft conversion? And in this particular property, it wasn't a single loft conversion, it was a double loft conversion I added to this property. Also, I added a double story conversion at the back of this property. So I got the planning approval to build a 3-meter extension on the ground floor level, and again on the story level. So that was another value there added. I was also being able to add another extension to the side as well. And not just that, ladies and gents, as well. The third thing rather, I was also able to do was that I was also able to increase the number of bathrooms in this property. So from a 3-bedroom property to a 6-bedroom property that's got 6 bathrooms, or rather en-suites, automatically the price will go up. And finally, ladies and gents, as well, I was also able to put in another kitchen in the loft space area, so which almost means that the guy living upstairs in that particular property has his own private kitchen, which, popularly people will call it a studio. So in this particular property, I was able to create a studio flat in the loft space of this particular property. Now, 9 months later, this property was able to revalue at £950,000. So when you're looking to add significant value, when you're looking to double the price of a property in a certain area where you know that the actual value will hit the price that you're expecting, or for example, where you can still buy semi-detached properties at 3-bed or 2-bed and drive those value up to becoming, for example, 6 bedrooms, and you're actually pushing up the price, you're forcing the price of that property. It is very important. It's not the kitchen, it's not the bathroom, or it's not just basically decorating the property. You're going to need to add floor spaces and external spaces in this property. Now, before we kind of, end this video, there's something I want you to know, that it's not just about going intentionally to building all these extensions. There are regulations that must be met. The first regulation that you need to understand is the ability to use the permitted development rights, and also the ability to apply for the appropriate planning consent in order for you to add this value. That's number one. So the second thing that you must also be aware of is that you must also understand the importance of having the right structural engineer work with you on this type of project. So you would need to have someone who can look at the actual property and see what can be added onto this property structurally as well. You must also understand the power of the building control have to do with this, because the building control will have to sign this off. So you would need to understand your local authority regulations, within the building requirements. And finally, ladies and gents, you must be able to understand that you will need party wall arrangements to be in place. So these are things that you must need and understand when you're looking to adding significant value and driving the property price from, for example, £450,000 to around about £950,000. Now, these particular properties would end up becoming an HMO. So you're not just adding significant value for the sake of adding number of bedrooms, number of en-suites and so on, but what you're looking to do is to add significant value and rent that property out as a house of multiple occupation, which then means as well that your property would not be compared to the average 6-bedroom property in the area and generating the average income as well. But by converting this type of properties and adding significant value, when you do convert them and make them become an HMO, you are also driving, your income, times 3, times 4 of what the average properties will rent for in the particular area. So I'm going to be doing more of this kind of videos. So make sure that you smash the like button on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you share this with a friend of a friend, and make sure that you comment if this value, has made an impact in your property journey, and let us know if there's anything else that you'd like us to cover as we continue to post this kind of video content on our YouTube channel. I'll see you soon on the other side. Take care.